Pokemon with Guns Palworld might be what everybody's talking about right now, but it's actually another game that might be the next big thing in open world survival. This is Enshrouded, and we got to play it before its release on January 24th. After playing a dozen hours of the game, we think it is a must-play for anyone into open-world survival games, and it might even be the next Valheim. Here's why. Enshrouded and Valheim have a lot in common. Open-world survival is a term thrown around a lot, but it clearly applies very well to both titles. Both games are set in vast open worlds full of challenges and vistas to explore. They have multiplayer capabilities, so you're free to set out in the world on your own or with a group of friends. They have a resource gathering system that's really deep, unless you hunt down different types of wood or even monster parts. Their crafting systems take all that material you spent time gathering and allow you to make useful tools and powerful gear. They also have versatile building systems, so whether you're building a small home for yourself or a whole base for you and your friends, you're covered. They've got a variety of enemies to tackle and a sense of palpable danger and threat throughout. And of course, both have boss encounters that may seem simple enough at first, but eventually become massively challenging and entertaining. Quite a lot, right? But now let's look at the new things Enshrouded brings to the table. One of Valheim's initial selling points was a procedurally generated world. While biomes and boss encounters remain fairly static, the locations and layouts of those would vary with each playthrough. This increased replayability, but at what cost? We're seeing a bit of pushback against procedurally generated landscapes right now. Yes, looking at you, Starfield. Well, Enshrouded is nothing like that. It takes place in a massive handcrafted open world. The map remains the same with each playthrough, but the amount of unique locations and hidden secrets you can find in just the first couple of hours is pretty impressive. But that's not all. It's also a voxel-based map with terrain and structures that can be dug into, sculpted, or blown up. This is a massive step forward when it comes to handcrafted open worlds, because that's normally what you might expect from a proc-gen experience like No Man's Sky. So what else? Valheim has a skill system that improves skills with each use, so keep using a spear and you'll get better at it, for example. Enshrouded, on the other hand, has a massive skill tree that seems to follow a traditional RPG combat triad: melee, magic, and stealth. As you level up or explore certain parts of the world, you'll get skill points to allocate to different branches of the tree, ensuring that while the world may stay the same, how you interact with it can change with each playthrough. Valheim has a story and tells it well in an environmental kind of way. Enshrouded instead has a quest system, leading you to parts of the world to solve mysteries, discover ancient ruins, and recruit NPCs to your base. The Shroud is the ever-present threat, a magical plague on certain areas that will kill you if you stay in it too long. Letters and Notes tell a story of a world that has undergone a kind of apocalypse, where you're left to pick up the pieces. And honestly, I can't wait to find out what they all add up to. Oh, and one more thing Enshrouded has that Valheim doesn't: gliding. Soar through the air on your very own glider, which can be improved. The first one you get is more falling without dying, though. We've only spent a dozen or so hours collectively in the world of Enshrouded, so our impressions may be a little premature. However, we can tell that a lot of thought and love went into taking elements of other open-world survival games, refining them, and combining them into a new, fresh experience. Conan Exiles was actually the game that Enshrouded reminds us of the most because of its handcrafted, dangerous world with lots of building and customization options. The building in Enshrouded is more modular and has more potential for unique building, and we think that's what will persuade a lot of people to pick this title up in the end. But let's be frank though, Enshrouded is in early access and has some issues that it still needs to work out. At least in the early game, the combat seems a lot easier than both Conan Exiles and Valheim, and the only true threat seems to be posed by the Shroud areas themselves. This may change in time, or it may be a massive selling point to those who want a more chill experience. All in all though, we think that what people really want now is a handcrafted survival experience with lots of opportunity to not only explore the world, but make their mark on it as well. The age of the procedurally generated world may be over. Is Enshrouded the Skyrim to Valheim's Starfield? Well, we recommend you grab a copy and find out for yourself.